Punch the sky, Spaceman Joe. Yeah. Tier 1, crazy head. Okay, let's go.
The news this week for Werewolf Radar's paranormal news is twofold. Are you ready, Nate? Are you ready, Jordan?
I'm ready. Also, how is that not the news for this week? The government is suppressing Earthworm Jim.
Oh, well, it's not really like paranormal. I'm waiting for ABC to really cover it. If ABC doesn't cover it, then we'll cover it. But I feel because it's not really paranormal,
Yeah.
it doesn't fall in line with what I want to talk about this week.
Mhm.
And if you don't mind, before we start, give us a 5-star review wherever you can. It really helps us grow
Get
and
over.
become a full podcast. See, we're just a little baby podcast
A
right
partial
now.
cast.
But soon, with your help and 5-star reviews, we'll become a full podcast that's like
Yeah.
80,000 feet tall and 30 million heads.
And truly
Strong.
unstoppable.
So, for the first story I have for us is from Unilad. You can find it in a few other places. This is the one that I chose because it has, unfortunately, the author with the hardest name to pronounce.
Sure. Makes you spit lick.
Makes me spit lick. USA's most haunted lake that has claimed 700 lives since
Whoa.
1976 will now open a water slide.
I think it's a good move.
I mean, that will definitely speed up the losing people to the lake process.
This is my favorite part of it. Go to our YouTube. Remember to like and subscribe. That helps us grow.
Hilarious.
This is the lake. That's just a random picture of a water slide.
Next to an ominous sign. This is what we're thinking. This kind of vibe.
You know
Wow.
where your great uncle Jimmy died in 1962?
Yeah,
That's
we're
where
gonna
the
go.
curly Q slide goes.
We're gonna go visit. We're gonna go visit your uncle's place of death. They never did
His
find his
watery
body.
grave.
So yeah, it is technically his grave. We're gonna go visit your uncle's grave and also ride the sea dragon. You kids love the sea dragon?
Yeah.
They should call it the sea dragon.
So
That's
this-
outstanding. That's what I mean. That would bring a level of thrills to a water slide never before seen. I've ridden a water slide and been scared because it was steep, but never because it was going to disgorge me into a floating graveyard.
So the lake we're talking about is Lake Lanier. Might be pronouncing that wrong, but it's in where are you at? It is in northern Georgia of the US.
I'm
Mhm.
sure they say Lanier.
Gross. And the words that I am reading from are from Jared Koenig.
Sure.
Konga. I'm sorry, buddy.
Tonga.
Up, 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 up.
So this was the lake isn't a true lake from what I'm gathering. It says it was created in the 1950s
No,
as part
it's
of
an empty pool. That's why so many people died there.
Filled with spikes. Got it.
it's part of the Rivers and Harbors Act, which aimed to improve and reinforce waterways across the United States.
Okay.
Despite being built to serve the Atlantic community in need of a water source and hydroelectric power, the lake's creation was marred by social injustice and a disturbing construction strategy, which saw locals displaced to make room for the water.
Whoa.
In Georgia? You gotta be fucking kidding me.
The hell you say?
It took 5 years to complete the construction of the lake. And as I said, it caused families and businesses to be pushed out of what was once a primarily Black community, as well as about 20 graveyards to be relocated.
All right.
Doing so created ghost towns in this area, as well as just leaving tombstones totally intact at the bottom of the lake. That's right. If you go diving, you can see the legitimate tombstones of old graveyards in Lake
Yes.
Lanier.
So it's an
Lanier.
opposite poltergeist?
Kinda. Either way, you get haunted. Please just move the bodies. Move the tombs, move the bodies. No matter what, you are going to get haunted.
Yeah.
In the 7 decades since its construction, 700 people have died in the lake. The deaths supposedly have never been considered supernatural in nature. That's because they haven't had us on the case. Give us some of those files. We'll point out the ghosts. Where the deaths have not been considered supernatural in nature. But unfortunately, as the lake was not built for recreational purposes, it creates other issues. It's not a good swimming lake, but the community chooses to swim in it. The sunken buildings and trees beneath the lake have proven to be extremely hazardous to swimmers in the water. Underwater hazards can be deadly when swimming, and countless people have been trapped in various places while doing fun, as I told you to do, diving exploration of the lake.
Yeah.
But now a water park is being introduced here.
Yeah. A good move from a thrills and spills and chills standpoint. Bad move from a
every other standpoint.
Yeah, not getting dragged under the water by a skeletal hand standpoint.
And you know who's bringing us this fine news to really cheer up the grimness which I brought us?
I don't know, the New York Post.
Margaritaville.
Hey, they know what's up.
Yeah.
They know how to take a sad place and make it fun. Every Margaritaville is built on a graveyard of some sort. Not a lot of people know that.
Stepped on a pop top, impaled on a treetop.
So capitalism is on its way to save the day. The park officials confirmed the building, or confirmed the water park build. By saying this monumental investment marks the most significant expansion of Margaritaville at Lanier Islands in decades.
Amazing.
Adding Georgia's largest water slide complex to the water park, boosting an impressive 15 slides in total in 2024.
I stayed away again at the side of mass carnage.
So that's that news. Let's now jump over
fucking crazy
to this little tidbit of fun. We have from abc4.com. I believe that is Utah. If not, they're talking about Utah. It is Utah, in fact. I read on. Investigation into paranormal activity in Utah confirmed by the Department of Defense. In Salt Lake City, a document recently published by the Department of Defense All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office took a look into unidentified anomalous phenomenon, UFOs, and included a section on Utah.
Anomalon.
Anemone? Is that my...
I don't know what's happening. My tongue's going
Department of Defense All-Domain Anemone Resolution Office. There we go.
Yeah.
The nearly 70-page report said there was an investigation into an alleged hotspot of UAP and paranormal activity at a property in Utah, which at the time was owned by the head of a private sector organization. The report claims the investigators examined shadow figures, creatures, and explored remote viewing and human consciousness anomenons.
Interesting.
Additionally, the report states that the investigators plan to hire psychics to study interdimensional phenomenon.
Dang, cool.
Right?
Yes.
Also,
Yes, right.
also, the report says all investigative efforts at all levels of classification concluded that most sightings were ordinary objects and phenomena were a result of misidentification. Right, I brought us down there. I really rose us up and then brought us down.
Yeah, that's not great for the podcast.
But I mean, they say most.
They did say most. Interesting phrasing, creepos.
Yeah. If it's 98% even, that's
Yes.
2%
Good work.
potential aliens.
Good work.
And that is
Nate.
a
reading
small,
between the lines.
and that is what am I trying to say? A kind of a lie in the report. It says that concluded that most sightings were ordinary object and phenomena were the result of misidentification. That is strictly referring to more so your shadow figures or creatures in UFOs. And even then, the report goes on to say that many of the cases do remain unsolved. So a bulk of the cases are just unknown creature, shadow figure, and UAP sightings.
Fair.
The quote, the lack of actionable researchable data, specifically the lack of speed, altitude, and size of UFOs combined with resource constraints, high volume of cases, and perceived differing levels of support from USG officials, United States government officials, were factors in all investigative efforts. So even the report was hampered by apparently the Department of Defense.
The DOD getting in there all the time.
But there is, and I will link as much information as I can to the Discord about this, and you can go through it yourself. It is a 70-page report filled with government legalese and fun, but there is some good stuff in there, such as what I brought you. And you can see some of the reports on various shadow figures, both probably misidentification and legitimate, in my opinion. Indeed.
Indeed. Yes, quite rather.
Well, that's been the news for this week, gentlemen. 2 stories coming at you. We have most haunted lake has most radical water slide being built on it soon.
God, that thing is going to get shut down so fast.
And then an investigation into the paranormal has been confirmed by the Department of Defense.
Pretty cool.
And some weird shit happening in Utah, which we already knew, but it seems to be a private sector organization doing research. I'm throwing it out there. Allegedly doing research. That's my theory.
Hey, look, I'm not a government agent of any sort.
Okay.
I swear. I'm not a government agent of any sort, but and I'm not sanctioned by any governing body to do any kind of work with them. In fact, I would say long ago chose the side of the robbers in the cops and robbers, the great cops and robbers debate. But if these guys need people, if you need some D-class personnel to go in there and get haunted, hit me up.
It does seem like
I know you're listening. I see you there, shaking that ass.
Private sector organizations and the government definitely are taking people off the allegedly, in my theory, are taking people off the streets and using them for crazy research.
All kinds of crazy shit.
And I mean, if you want to not have to do that and maybe have 3 willing participants for some interdimensional phenomena.
Yeah, I don't want to be transformed in any way. Like, I don't want to I was going to say I don't want a tail, but then I thought about it. I was like, I could use a tail.
Sure. After the tail experiment, you just get to watch a TV screen that shows you things from different universes.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I'm looking for.
Nate?
Now, I want to be halfway in between the sides of a battleship.
You want to get fused. You want to get Philadelphia'd.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be pretty cool.
Well, you heard it here first, government and listeners. Werewolf Radar is down to explore the unknown.
Yeah. We want to get fused.
If you like what we do here and want to get fused with us, check us out on just the interweb, werewolfradar.com. You can find our merch store, our YouTube, subscribe and like our videos, please. It really helps us grow.
Please.
If you're just an audio listener, any podcast hosting, you know where to find us. You're listening to us right now. But please give us a 5-star review wherever you can. And if you really are able to, we would really appreciate you giving us a small financial donation at patreon.com/werewolf radar, where you can become a Dark Council member and receive great paranormal extras from us, such as merchandise, extra episodes, and early access to the news. Plus, you can contact us in easier ways. Send us messages about topics you want us to cover or things that have happened to you that we can research and then talk about.
And Jordan will make
live.
you a sandwich.
Yes, Jordan will make you a sandwich. You got to go to Redacted.
I will.
I will drop it off.
I will then eat it. But it will have been for you.
Kind of a punishment on that one.
Yeah, it's
but also you get to hang out with us every Sunday.
Yeah,
and chat, laugh about the paranormal with us, and also get some goosebumps about the paranormal every once in a while.
Yeah.
On the count of 3, let's wrap up this episode though with our super duper secret sign off line from one Dark Council member extraordinaire, Dylan Gutierrez. 1, 2, 3.
Suspect
the void, space person, whomever.
If it's true, then you understand you've been lied to. For soul removal, that means that you losing every time you don't know the fucking truth.